here we are, back at Comic-Con Revolution in Ontario, California.
Indeed.
This is your second year here.
It is my second year here. It
and
is
last
indeed.
year, when we talked, everybody really appreciated it. They loved you singing Oklahoma.
Did I sing from Oklahoma?
Yes.
Well, what shall I sing from this year?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, technically, gotta get back to the past, Samurai Jack. There's that song.
Yes.
You know, but it lacks the resonance of Oklahoma. Sung as Aku, of course.
Right.
Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping down the plains. Well, that didn't sound so good.
Hey, it was just as good as last year.
All right.
So, what have you been up to since last time we talked?
I've been busy getting older and fatter and closer to death, like you do. Hey, I call it like I see it. Done some work. I am voicing a recurring character on a Disney pilot, which looks like it's going to be picked up, but I can't talk about it other than to say it's a pilot that was very well received in testing, and I have every reason to think it'll be greenlit. If it gets greenlit, then I'll have another series. My Twitter life, learning to remember. I have to remember sometimes before I tweet. I have to ask myself, would Uncle Iroh tweet this, Greg? Think about it before you tweet. And I try. And and the thing is that the world does not need another guy on Twitter shouting about politics. But what the world does need is Uncle Iroh. And so, as best as I can in my limited form, I try to do that as best I can.
So I'm glad you brought that up. I do have a question. It's like, you're cosplaying today.
I am cosplaying today. I am
indeed. Talk about that because this looks very customizable.
I am very pleased with how it came out.
So,
I am very pleased indeed.
How long did it take?
From the first con, I used to go to cons with my son before I actually became a voice actor or became successful as a voice actor. And so I always wanted to cosplay from the moment I first came to a con, but I didn't know how to build a costume. But my little brother, Jeff, who is the entertainment director of the Texas Renaissance Festival, and I went to visit him in November, and I always enjoyed going to the fair with him. And he said, okay, Greg, you go down and see my costume people, and they can get you a nice Renaissance costume. And I had been going crazy trying to find somebody to build a costume. They're literally putting me in my Renaissance costume, and I suddenly go, hey, little brother, do you think your costume team might be interested in some side work? And that's how it happened. A very talented costumer there built me the costume. She took my measurements when I was in Texas. She sent it to me. I found a very talented wig maker literally online. You could see that she had done an Iroh wig before, and this is the first time that I've been able to wear it, and I love it.
And I think it looks fantastic.
And it's remarkably comfortable.
And people have been excited. You mentioned earlier you walked around, and people were just like, oh.
It was what I always wanted to do. I originally just wanted to cosplay Iroh and walk around the cons. And so I finally left my booth here, and I went to the big room and did that. And what I had always wanted to happen, happened. I'm walking around, and people are going, somebody says, hey man, Uncle Iroh. And I say, oh, hello, my friend. And I hear somebody behind me go, crap, that's really Uncle Iroh. And that's my work here is done. That's all I wanted to happen.
If you have the opportunity, would you work on another cosplay?
Unfortunately, Aku, it's very tall and thin and a shapeshifter. And my shape only shifts in one way, one direction,
I don't think that should stop you. If you love it, you love it. You should do it.
It would take an interest. I am thinking I might, because the fans do seem to love this. Iroh has different looks. He has his White Lotus look.
Yes.
He has the look in Korra, which is a very different look. I might do different Iroh looks. And I might even do buff Iroh, where they do the thing that they put on, basically the t-shirt on top of me. I think that would be pretty funny too.
Yes, it'd be great.
So yeah, I think I'm probably stuck cosplaying Iroh. We have certain similarities between the two of us.
Well, I love it. It looks awesome.
I thank you.
Very lively.
I thank you.
And there was one question that a comment popped up from last year's video. It was, did you ever meet Mako?
I never met Mako. I know of Mako's work because he was in a musical that I loved. I've always loved musicals since I was a child. He was in a musical called Pacific Overtures in 1977. And I listened to this again and again and again, so that when he sadly passed away, I had literally been doing a Mako impression for 30 years. That being said, I never met him. I did meet his daughter and his grandson, who was also named Mako. They came to a taping of Santa Maria Jack one day, and I didn't know they were coming, and that was pretty freaky. Because it's one thing to do the voice of the legendary actor Mako. You know, everybody knows Mako, everybody loves Mako, but his daughter and his grandson really literally loved Mako. I'm doing the voice of this woman's father, who's no longer with us. And that was, yeah, I wanted to get that right. I wanted her, and she did. She gave me a hug afterwards and she said it was like he was in the room. And of all the things I've ever done professionally, that day mattered the most. Because I truly, as I was going home that night and I was talking it over with my wife, I said I would pay anything to hear my own father's voice again. Even if it was just like I am. I'm sort of Mako, but I'm sort of not Mako. Because I'm Greg Baldwin. I can never sound exactly like him, but to sound just enough like him so that his daughter could hear his voice again, if just for a little while. That was awesome.
That's very sweet. Well, last question. If you had the opportunity to return, will you return to Comic-Con Revolution?
Of course I will. Absolutely. If you want me back, I'll come here again. I love cons. I used to go with my son before I was a guest at cons, and I just love, there's a certain freedom at cons. People are free to be who they want to be, and no one is judged for it. And I love that. I like cons. These are my people. That's why I'm dressed like this.
And if you had the opportunity to cosplay for the contest, would you?
Yeah, I might. Although I think I have an unfair advantage.
Why is that?
Because I actually am the character.
Oh, come on. They won't know that. They won't know that. Not until they,
until you
get on that microphone and say, hello.
Wait. Is there cash involved with these cosplay contests?
Yes.
Oh, how much are we talking about?
Well, as always, it's been refreshing to talk to you.
A pleasure talking with you as well.
And hopefully we can talk again in the future.
I'll be about